My name's Eric. I work with rent2ownforless.com. I've done 35 transactions in the last year, and I just wanted to talk today to educate the potential rent-to-own buyer a bit. And today I just wanted to say who should really avoid rent-to-own. Now, rent-to-own, again, it's expensive. You're talking about a few grand that you're going to lose if you don't purchase the house. So it's important to determine whether or not you can purchase the house. If you know you're probably going to rent, and you know the idea of home ownership sounds good, but you don't really see yourself following through, then I would not do it. Rent, save the money, don't waste the several $1,000s. Everybody's not meant to be a buyer, and if you know up front that you're not, then you might as well just stay a renter. Also, if you've got insufficient income, a lot of people I've seen that have gone through divorce used to be in the income bracket where they could afford very nice things. Well, when they get divorced, they get their income cut in half or more than cut in half, and they want to maintain that same lifestyle. You know, it's not a bad idea to go to a mortgage broker, find out exactly what you can qualify for, or just kind of there's a lot of websites that have mortgage calculators to find out what your monthly payment would be after you buy the house, because it's one thing to make the monthly payments going in, but you got to be able to make the mortgage payments also when you go to buy. So if you don't have sufficient income, it's probably not for you. The other thing, credit issues that can take more than a year. If you had a foreclosure last year, don't do a rent-to-own. They take several years to come off your record, and although it's not the life sentence that it was, and it doesn't have the stigma that it had several years ago, it's still not going to come off in a year, unfortunately. So I would just recommend get your credit, rent for a little while, get your credit in order, and then possibly do it in 1 to 2 years. Same thing with a bankruptcy. Chapter 13, again, I'm not a bankruptcy attorney, but Chapter 13 reorganization, that as long as you're paying that reorganization, that can possibly, you can still go into rent-to-own. But if you've gotten to Chapter 7, which is basically wiping the slate clean, it's going to take a few years to that clear off. You don't want to get into a short-term rent-to-own situation where you've got 1 year to buy the house. You're just setting yourself up for disaster. You're not going to be able to clear your credit up in time to do that. Also, if you've got very low credit score, again, there's some things that are easier to get off than others. But if you've got in the 400s, I would recommend getting with a credit repair company or getting with a credit counselor and doing some of those things to get your credit up. Just because if you've got a 400, you got a ways to go before you are able to purchase a house. So also, if you've got unpaid education loans, now those are something that cannot be negotiated off. You can negotiate the payments on them. Let's say you had $50,000 in medical bills and you owed, if you had $1,000 unpaid. Now you can negotiate spreading those out a lot of times, but they're not something that you can get dropped. Those stay with you. Those are often government backed, so that's something to consider before getting yourself into an expensive situation that you can't fix. Now, if you go to rent2ownforless.com, we've got 10 free informational videos. Gives you a lot of steps in order to purchase a house. Gets you an action plan to take, whether rent-to-own is the thing for you or something else. And so if you go there, it's rent2ownforless.com. We can give you those free videos, and you can start moving towards home ownership.